Hey guys, how's it going? This is me again for the second time. But tonight I've got a very special guest. Her name is Laurie. She is one of my coaching clients, and she's got an amazing story that I wanted to share with all of you guys. These are the stories of our lives. This is what I'm calling these segments now, so just go with it. Um, so yeah, Laurie, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I know it's been quite a month for you. So
Yeah,
so thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Um, so yeah, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into it more.
sure. So to begin with, up until recently, I had a very stressful job in the criminal court system, working full time, two teenage kids, married, house, the whole deal. I had two aging parents with like illnesses, and I think, going through that whole process of raising kids and being in that sandwich generation and, dealing with sick parents as well, drinking became a crutch for me. It helped with like anxiety issues as well as just like calm down after like a really crazy day. But obviously it grew momentum and got out of control. So it was close to the end of the year that I decided enough was enough. I wanted to walk into 2021, free of alcohol and just get a grip on on my emotions and my, physical health as well. And so, joined some Facebook groups, and that's how I got connected to this.
And now we're here.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
thanks so much for sharing all of that. I mean, it's so, when I just hearing you talk, it sounds like it's like a pretty standard life for many
Mhm.
moms, you know?
Absolutely.
And I mean, not to scare you, but that's a little bit scary. That is that kind of how, we're all just living, that these are our lives and this is just how it is, and
Yeah.
some of us find ourselves in situations like these. But okay, so just to get a little bit more specific, so I know you and I started speaking, I think January 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that, and then we had
Mhm.
our first call on the 8th. So could you describe in just a few words, like, what changed for you in this last few weeks that we've been talking, and that you've been working hard?
So I had, previously, in the past few years, attempted to quit on my own and multiple times. And, but I never really did any research. I just kind of just stopped drinking and kind of white knuckle my way through it. And obviously cravings, stressors, triggers, they catch up and then you're right back to where you started. So this was a little bit different for me as far as it gave me structure, things to do during the day, that tasks that I needed to complete, and I think that's I put my focus into calming techniques and grounding techniques. This is meditation, reading, exercising. These, one, kept me busy, but two, kind of kept me grounded and focused, so I wasn't kind of triggered a lot. So I think this has been a whole new chapter as far as I feel a lot more successful and have a lot better grasp on sobriety at this point than I ever have.
Wow. um I guess, would you say you're comfortable living a sober life now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel at 46 days now. I mean, I'm still sort of. I feel like I don't want to get too confident and say I'm got a total grasp on it. I know it's going to be a work in progress forever. But at this point, I have the things that I've been doing every day have become almost rote for me. So it's like I wake up, make my coffee, watch the sunrise, exercise. So it's like these things have become such a pattern and ingrained in my day, that it's just a normal way of life now.
46 days, you said?
Yeah, and I've never made it this long, so this is like huge.
Wow, this is huge. Guys, for all of you guys that are listening, do you hear what Laurie just said? She's just been following a simple method, and really in 46 days, of which her and I have been working together for what, 30? A little bit, yeah, just a little over 30. and patterns and habits have formed. So how, I know in our sessions, you know, you've been talking about this a fair bit, but describe what it's like to have these habits, please, for everybody that's there. Like, how is it easy? Is it, you know, do you have to get yourself into it? Like, how, you know, how is it for you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, obviously some days, if you're tired or you have a lot of stuff going on, like it's easy to get distracted or say like, okay, I'm going to put this off. But I think there's safety in structure. And when and it's not like overwhelming, the stuff that, I'm doing every day. And it can be easily completed before even lunchtime, in the morning for most of it. But I think it's just that safety feeling, like, okay, I've got things to do, that you're keeping your mind occupied and your body occupied. And, as well, it's grounding as well. Um, it just works. It works.
Wow, that's so that's I'm at a loss for words, because that's you know, pretty astonishing leap you're describing. That now it's just you've got a habit, you're just doing these things and they're easy, and you know, you're would you, how would you describe your overall temperament through the day now? Because I know, you know, we tend to get a little bit irritable when we don't have, you know, our glass of wine or whatever other thing that we have. So could you share more on that front?
Absolutely. So I have found that just by simply meditating, and it doesn't have to be a crazy, like 45-minute meditation, but, there have been evenings where, like something irritates you, like, something with your family or, something that's happening during the day, you're just kind of irritated. And I think that's a huge trigger, especially if you're rolling into evening time, that like, oh, a glass of wine would be perfect right now. So what I've been doing is just doing a second meditation, just kind of taking myself out of the
Wow.
situation, calming myself down that way, and just allowing myself like in a quiet space to meditate for a few minutes and get my breathing down and like my mind quieted a little bit. And 9 times out of 10, the craving will pass, but it's just, for me, it's meditation. For someone else, it might be a walk, but, yeah, it's just getting yourself through it and knowing that it's temporary, you will come out on the other side. And I think that's why I always hold it before, because, the craving gets the better of you. But I think once you understand, you've done it a few times where you're like, okay, you quiet your mind down and you meditate, and then you're like, okay, I'm not craving wine right now. I can move on with the rest
Wow.
of my day.
You are mm, telling me the stuff of dreams. So how many days in a row have you been meditating now?
Oh my gosh, it has been, well, I'm on my fourth week every day. So yeah, it'll be a full 30 days.
You are a rock star. So from day one to day 30, for what would your advice be for someone that is listening to this and going, aha, meditation, but it sucks because I've tried it before and I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it. So
Yeah,
what's your advice there from day one?
almost almost always I go into it, my mind is like kind of on rapid fire, and I'm sitting there like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to calm down. Um, but just by breathing and focusing on the breathing, and I think at the beginning guided meditation helps, like someone just kind of guiding you through it. And honestly, it could even be 10 minutes long. You don't have to dedicate it an hour or anything crazy. And it's interesting how even over the span of like 10 minutes, like all of a sudden you're calm and your heart rate has come down. And that can just be 10 minutes, so it doesn't have to be anything massive.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that this is particularly going to help a lot of moms, to see just someone, you know, that they can relate to, just openly talk about this. Because look, it's 30 days is, it's not a very long time in the
Mm-hmm.
overall span of your life. It's a blip. And all you're really doing is consider it a sacrifice, 30 days of a sacrifice
Yeah.
to then be where you are now. So could you describe to us, like in terms of, you know, how you feel in terms of stress or in terms of anxiety or in terms of triggers, what's changed for those things in your daily life since you've been meditating for 30 days?
Um, well, definitely just like like I had kind of said before, just like the structure of everything, and kind of going back to basics. Either from me personally, that my triggers tend to be later in the day. I think one, you're just physically probably more tired in the day and like mentally
Yeah,
exhausted, and then therefore the cravings kind of creep in. And that's traditionally when I think most people will have a beer, glass of wine, or whatever it is. And I think just having just a plan, like, okay, if some days can roll easy and you're like easy breezy, other days not so much, because obviously everyone has stressors, no one has like the perfect day every day. And so just having a plan of action set up, and I think now my family's used to it, like they'll know, like I have one room that I go to where it's just like I turn out the lights, kind of meditate, and like kind of calm down.
that's your
And
place. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's thank you so much for that. That was sure. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that, but anyway. So last couple of questions. I guess what is next for you now that you've made it this far, and now life is a little bit different, and
Mhm.
things are different. What's next for Laurie?
Well, I think, I've been kind of in a safety bubble, these past 30 days. I mean, one, I'm in the safety of like kind of like the COVID bubble. It's like winter, it's cold outside. So, it's people aren't really like out there socializing, and, people are still, um, you know, trying to be safe with the whole COVID situation. So I think as like we roll into spring, I'm definitely going to have implement action plans as social situations and dealing with those, and really relying on, some of the, stepping stones that I've been kind of building up with you, and just kind of just gaining, more time. I think the more sober time, like hopefully the cravings will kind of dissipate somewhat as time goes on. And, maybe, now I tend to, go walking or hiking with my dog, but find maybe other physical activities, like I used to do spin, like maybe like join a spin class, like just kind of start branching out a little bit into
Yeah,
more.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, warmer weather presents so many more opportunities to do different things, right? So just that alone is so much joy. Um, Last thing would be, what would you say to someone that is on the fence, that doesn't know, if they can do it or how they should go about it? So what would be your advice to someone that is in the same shoes as you, 40, 30, 40 days ago?
I would say it's worth a shot, because especially I think most people have given it a try themselves multiple times. Just like, okay, I'm just not going to drink, and the first few days, you're kind of coming off a hangover or whatever, or maybe an embarrassing incident or whatever it is that causes you not to want to drink. But that kind of like fades away in your memory after a while, and then all the triggers come back in. Um, this is like, these action items or tasks to do are very easy, they're not difficult, and they are very grounding. And I think if you just give yourself like, okay, I'm going to try this out for 7 days, or just maybe block it into like little chunks, like, okay, I'm going to give myself a week, and just see how you are through that week, and for me, like, you have the printout, we can actually like
Tracker?
write things down. I'm a list maker. So for me, it was just very helpful, just visually seeing everything that I was checking off during the day. And, it's worth a shot.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I thought of one more question while you were saying that, and you're right. A lot of people have tried this on their own. So I just wanted to ask, in doing this on your own versus having, someone like me to guide you through the process, what difference does that make?
it's a huge difference because I think it's like any other um, challenge that you're trying to, whether it's like weight loss or um, anything that you're trying to accomplish, if you have accountability, and I think like statistically it's like kind of proven with anything, if you have like a accountability partner or coach or someone that's kind of, you know, along the on the ride with you, um, you are, you know, you'll tend to do better, you know. Like I think like when you know like, okay, you know, you know, I'm feeling tired, I don't feel like doing this today, but I know I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. I'm like, okay, I gotta get my stuff done, you know. Because, you know, it's easy to fall off the wagon if it's you're completely solo, but if you're in, you know, amongst other people like you going through the same thing, you know, it's just that kind of kindred, you know, accountability. It's just, you know, it's a great support system.
Yeah. Plus, I bet, understanding this stuff, like some of the neuroscience, some of, how the brain works and how habits are formed and mental rehearsal and like just awareness and understanding of these things, would you say that helps break it down better for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely, because the thing is, you know, you like your head and your heart are like two separate things. And I think like, you know, when you feel something, like when you feel a craving or you feel a trigger in your mind, if you know like what's behind that and what you need to do and you just connect the two, it's just easier to get past it. Whereas like when you are white knuckling it, it's just easy just to, you know, say forget
Yeah.
it, you know, forget it and I'll try again tomorrow, you know.
Did you hear that, guys? Knowledge is power. I've been screaming it for so long. Once you become aware and once you understand that, oh, this is what's happening, just understanding it becomes easier, as my dear Laurie just said. Laurie, thank you so much. I am so grateful that, not only was I, you know, not only was I able to help you, I feel very grateful that, you're able to come here and talk about your experience and talk about your life. So thank you so much for that. I will see you on Saturday. see you, see you next time. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great night. I know you're just driving in. It's probably dinner time for you now. And for everybody that was watching, guys, thank you very much. I will fix it up. I didn't have time to make a nice description. I'll do it all and it'll be posted later. Okay, Laurie, thank you very much. Have a great